and welcome in to your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on 90.3 The Rock, rocking the ears for 41 years. I'm your host, as always, on Wednesday night, Chris Clark, joined by a phenomenal cast, as always. And, man, we've got a lot rocking on the show tonight. You know, we're going to get into some ball basketball, baseball, softball, and, of course, we're going to be touching on some NFL and NBA news going on later on in the segment. But first, let me just go ahead and allow me to reintroduce myself again. I am your host, Chris Clark. I'm here live at the wonderful Fieldhouse Social, 2525 University Commons Way, American craft food, beer, cocktails, this big 21-foot digital big screen TV right behind me, and plenty more TVs throughout the restaurant, as well as some cozy recliners sitting right in front of that big old TV. So you can't. It's a place that doesn't miss. The vibe and atmosphere down here is phenomenal as always. Trivia is getting ready to start off, and so, of course, people are definitely starting to flock in. Again, that is Fieldhouse Social, and thank them so much for their support. All right, now let's throw it back to our people in the studio. I know I've got Dylan Becker in there. We've got Dominic Thongard producing the show tonight. We've got Jackson Connell and Chloe helping it all run together. What's going on, guys?
Not much, Chris. I'm once again really jealous that you're at Fieldhouse Social and I'm not, because I want to be in one of those recliners. You were just describing them so well. I was thinking about the nap that I could take in them right now.
All right, and I apologize, guys. I'm doing my best to hear you. You're a little low on my end just at the moment, but no worries. We'll definitely get that figured out. Again, thank y'all so much for joining the show tonight. I am live solo dolo here at the moment down here at Fieldhouse Social, and ready to get it cracking, man. Again, we've got a lot going on, so let's jump right into it. All right, our men's basketball team not ending the season the way they wanted to, the way any of us wanted to see them end the season. A hard, tough loss down in Auburn, Alabama. Our own Tucker Harlan was actually down there repping for the Big Orange. It was not the outcome that we wanted to see. Tennessee, losing Zakai Ziegler, going back to the Arkansas game last Tuesday, definitely seemed to have an impact on them in this game. Not to mention, I don't know what it is, but it seems like Bruce Pearl, as the head coach of the Auburn Tigers, just seems to have his way with the Tennessee Volunteers. Guys, to recap it real quick, let's jump into it. And then we can start looking at the SEC picture. But let's get your takes on the Tennessee-Auburn game.
And you obviously hate to lose the last regular season game. It was winnable, in my opinion. But I think, obviously, one of the biggest factors was we were missing Zakai Ziegler. And when you don't have one of your best players, it's just not clicking as much because you have the same guy in your lineup for so long, and that element that's been working all season is just gone now. So it kind of messes up the, order of things when it comes to the lineup and how things flow within the team. And it just ended up falling to the point we ended up not getting the dub.
Yeah, you can definitely tell and notice the absence of Zakai Ziegler whenever you start looking at how well Tennessee, or how unwell Tennessee was moving the ball around on Saturday. It was just tough to see guys not get shots, and it really did look like it was going to be a winnable game until the wheels kind of just fell off at the end, unfortunately.
9 points isn't a horrible loss, but you still hate to see it.
Under the rules, we'll get started. Rule number 1, please come up with a team name.
Specifically against Auburn. Now Saturday, it was only a 9. Honestly, I don't think Tennessee was truly in that game, especially once we started to get further and further towards the end. Tennessee was good with especially on the defensive end, offensive end. Free throw percentage absolutely killed them. You're talking 63.2% compared to 75.
Starting with
we saw Auburn take advantage of those
one opportunity. We saw them being able to get to the line, put a lot of pressure on Tennessee's defense, and
they were already missing Zakai. That was already a tough task from them, irregardless, because you lose your big guard, and it is hard to make a ground. We saw them do it to Josiah Jordan this year. We've seen them do it with a couple of players that unfortunately missed some time, but they were able to kind of rebound and do well. And I think many of us expected Tennessee would be able to do that. In almost every statistical category, Tennessee is right there with Auburn. But I think to me, what it comes down to is your free throws and as well as the fouls. Free throws, 20 fouls compared to Auburn's 16. It was not a pretty great offensively for either team. And so you had that situation. And it's super unfortunate against Tennessee, shooting the ball fairly well compared to what we saw, what we've seen at times this season, but certainly played on that end of the spectrum. So shifting a little bit from the Auburn game, Tennessee is now scheduled to play in the SEC tournament, and they are already should be in Nashville. Of course, playing tomorrow night, they're going to play the winner of Ole Miss versus South Carolina. And just to recap real quick, Tennessee has faced both of those teams this season. South Carolina, they have obliterated twice by a total score of 83 points. Absolutely ridiculous. And if y'all remember, they had a very tight game all the way back, I believe it was late November, early December against Ole Miss. That was down in Oxford, very narrow win in escape for the Vols. Coming off the big win against Alabama. That was a long time ago. All right, now looking at this game coming up, you're either going to have one of those two opponents. I mean, I would love to play South Carolina again for obvious reasons. So I'm going to ask you guys, I think that would be the best case scenario. Start off with a team already or a team that really tested your ability starting off in the season.
Based off of the way that we kind of didn't finish out the game on Saturday, I'd like to play a team that we can kind of get some, mojo on, get some things rolling, maybe throw in EJ Edwards. I mean, I'm not saying we've got to change things completely around, but I mean, we do need to get some consistency going on the offensive end before we do face a team that really is going to challenge us.
And honestly, I think I would rather play the more challenging opponent in Ole Miss, just because historically, specifically this year, I'm just paranoid that we take South Carolina lightly and it ends up not working out for us. Obviously, there's no correlation to that besides our feelings about the football game earlier this year. But if you take a team lightly, then you end up kind of slacking off on things and it ends up falling apart and you get embarrassed.
Yeah, I think we can always speak for we're still not quite and especially someone pointed out last week, ways the guy was down.
Yeah, that was
absolutely for that to happen in the second to last game, once again, one of our leaders wearing really weird things that tend to happen in Tennessee. Very unfortunate for him as a sport as well as the company. And all the best to the time. We got to be as quick as possible. For Tennessee, looking to move forward a little bit, assuming they can take care of either both or depending on who the beat. They look at possibly, I said, excuse me, I'm jumping the gun. Instead of Ole Miss or South Carolina, Tennessee can get by them. There we go. So with Missouri being the next game, I mean, I hate to read this, but we go back just a few weeks. The absolute insanely bad it was to be a Tennessee basketball fan. The back was the buzzer beater. This one at home, for Vanderbilt, that one was hard to swallow. But at home, especially tough to see in a game where we thought Tennessee had to close down the stretch. I mean, how Missouri is a really good offensive team this year. Here's why they got that 4 seed in the SEC tournament. They have proven themselves to be the opponent more so. So Tennessee, I mean, if they can get that to the first round in Missouri, Tennessee has to get last time and be able to be on the winning side of it this time.
Question number 2. The Netflix
just gotta play that defense. What killed us with that buzzer beater was we let them get the ball at the very last minute, and obviously when it comes to miracle buzzer beater shots, it's all luck. But you don't want to give the other team as much an opportunity to pull off some lucky stuff like that. So just play defense. Make sure they don't have it in the last few seconds when it counts.
I think if we see some of the efficiency that we saw on Saturday, I have better hopes for playing a team like Missouri. I know that Vescovi was extremely efficient and shot really well on Saturday. If we could see another performance like that from him, I think that, I like our odds a little bit better against a Missouri.
Yeah, it's gonna take every bit of Santi out there. Look, being the guy that right now, he is the leader of the team. He's undoubtedly leader because part of the guy, what's happened to him. Because Santi's been there. He's been through a couple of these tournaments. He's been through these NCAA tournaments. The guy going into this SEC tournament Tennessee wants to make any kind of real noise. I think any of the Texas Tennessee can. We know that up and down. We know there's been guys that certainly have been in and out. Look, that's just what you do with during the season. But Tennessee has put themselves in a good spot here. I'm curious to see if you guys think if they can get past Missouri, where they end up going. Dominic, let's throw it out to you. I want to get your thoughts on what's going on with Tennessee basketball. Let's see what you think about this upcoming matchup.
I'm really excited for the SEC tournament personally. As you guys were talking about the Ole Miss versus South Carolina matchup, that one's definitely interesting with Ole Miss just losing their coach, and now there's a lot of rumors swirling around about Chris Beard potentially coming to Ole Miss, which would be insane for that program. And I feel like it would be fitting knowing who they've hired in the past. But this SEC tournament has a lot of interesting matchups. The Mizzou matchup is definitely one that can scare me. I was at that Mizzou game. I felt the energy just completely die when that buzzer beater was hit. And Mizzou's a dangerous offensive team. I think what really did us wrong during the Mizzou game was just Mizzou had a really great game. There's no way around it. They were hitting all their shots in that first half, and they just looked honestly remarkable. So we're just going to have to acknowledge the fact that sometimes basketball, what you got to do is just play your best game, and sometimes the team will play an equally good game. It's just as long as you lock in your fundamentals, I think that this team shouldn't have anything to worry about. But we do need guys who can step up and lead this team as Zakai is gone.
Well, that you are correct. I mean, it is a game of runs, as they say. And look, let's be honest. Just go out there and shoot the ball. Play some defense. Play hard. Put your best into it. And look, I know this is all like I sound like I'm Greg Barth here, but this is exactly what you have to do, and this is just how you get out of these slumps, especially in a game like basketball. All it takes is just one play. You think you know your play for sure. For Mizzou, let's just recap on that real quick. I think you guys, if I heard you correctly, touched on a few of the players there, but you've got
Those Tigers
are led by Coach Brown.
He
He
is
is
doing
doing
it all
it
the time,
all
right?
over the point.
And rebounding. So he's 6'8". It's quite a big challenge, especially for our guards. But I think the Tennessee can contain Coach Brown. I think that gives them the best shot in this game. And they've got 3 guys that are averaging over 10.5 points on the season. So again, Missouri, with the defense has lacked for them, the offense is certainly more than made up for them. So a very respectable opponent. We're talking a lot about them. Again, we are keeping our eyes locked on Ole Miss versus South Carolina right now.
It's 11-11 with
11 minutes to go in the first half. So that will win that game again. We'll be Tennessee tomorrow in the SEC tournament. And then let's talk about some
other basketball news going on right now before we switch to the Lady Vols. You guys mentioned it earlier, and it was big news that broke out today. It's the Jim Boeheim situation going on right now. From what I understand of this, is Boeheim is essentially given his speech and is just waiting on the school to accept it. It's kind of a whole situation right now. Legendary cover in Syracuse. Jim Boeheim has been part of a special team over there in the ACC.
Bobby Brown was married to what singer from 1992 to 2007? Whitney Houston. Question number 4, your multiple choice question.
Sometimes it's just time to throw it in. I'm not. There comes a point in people's lives, might be time for him to just, I'm done.
Which of these breakfast brands was founded the
As
longest
simple as that
time
sounds,
ago?
honestly, yeah. I mean, don't know a better way to explain it, to be honest.
He's just probably gotten to, and this is all complete assumption, but I feel like once I get to a point in my career where I've accomplished enough, and I feel like I've accomplished enough, put everything I had on the table, it might be time for me to just wrap it up too.
I mean, why would you go further and possibly tarnish what you've done by making things worse when you can just kind of call it at the right time?
Don, what you think?
It kind of feels like he already started to tarnish it this season. This season's been very weird for Boeheim. He's had a lot of media, just weird situations. He's had a moment where he attacked a student reporter in a press conference verbally, and then his retirement speech he said he had 2 almost. He's been really weird about the whole thing, and basically has dared the university to fire him almost, and it sounds like he's not necessarily going out of his own volition. However, he kind of is. It's a really weird situation up there in Syracuse. Obviously, the guy's a legend. He's done a great job in the past, but he seems to really have run out of steam, and I think he's just one of those coaches who would never succeed in this new NIL era. And if you're a Syracuse fan, you're going to be happy to be able to see a team play man-to-man offense for once.
Yeah, winning one of my last 6 games of the season, that would probably put a damper on it too, and I'd be probably pretty close to throwing in the towel myself.
And to get retired by Wake Forest, no less, that definitely has to sting for Mr. Boeheim in the first round.
Which is unfortunate because they actually just beat him 4 days ago.
It's a tragedy indeed for the man, but I guess that's his career. It's all over. He got, I believe, 1 national title, which is very impressive in college basketball, but it should be interesting changing the guard up there in Syracuse.
Yeah, in a weird way, it might mirror or sort of even mimic the Duke situation. Not that Coach K went out in that way. I mean, it sucked the way he went out last year if you're Coach K in Duke Nation. But nevertheless, still on a much higher note. But I think the changing of the guard, the person you're talking about who's been in this situation for so long, it's Boeheim coach Melo. He has been there for quite an extensive time and certainly been able to build up quite a tenure and resume there at Syracuse.
I think we all just had sympathy for him. If I'm not mistaken, some years back. And Syracuse basketball,
that kind of a deep into a season.
They're not exactly going to find very acceptable.
Again, this is a
student and fan base that's very well
college basketball.
and so when you have a situation like that going on, it starts to raise some questions. For Boeheim, all I can really say is college basketball really as it was Coach Carey's and some of the others. But nevertheless, it will be odd to see him not up there in Syracuse, but it'll be something we'll get used to. Let's see. All right,
It is.
let's kick
It's going to end up being Adrian Autry, well, a longtime assistant coach there.
off. Okay. Thank you so much
For the information, he is really
good luck.
Good luck to Mr. Adrian here. We'll see how that goes. And Syracuse basketball, again, very proud, historic program. I have no doubt they'll be fine.
Let's switch to
Lady Balls real quick, guys. They had a big weekend. Of course, we saw the win over Kentucky going back to prior to the weekend.
Question before Kellogg's Post Quaker, which is the breakfast brand.
Team came back to win that game. Against those LSU Tigers.
1877. Published was
And
1895.
bring up South Carolina, unfortunately.
Question below. How many springs are on a
Showed that on Sunday, come out with a much different mindset than last year. Slipping up in that game, that SEC championship game. Before we get to the SEC tournament,
What's your thoughts on the wrap-up of the regular season?
to anticipate moving forward for them.
First of all, I checked ESPN at the wrong time during the LSU game. I saw that we were down by a lot of points, and I was like, probably won't be worth it to turn it on and throw it on. Boy, was I wrong. I looked and the score, and then I looked at Twitter. I was like, you're lying. I went back and watched the highlights. It was an amazing game, so electric. It was probably the most fun Lady Balls game that I have seen in a long time, and I really, really, really wish I watched it live.
You hate the score difference because what is that, 19 point? Or no, not 19. I suck at math. You just hate to see the score gap be that big, but even still, it was one of the most fun games I've ever seen.
Yeah, the Lady Balls team really turned things around here at the end of the season. Just went on a run at the end of the regular season, won a couple of really good games, and then completely outperformed expectations in the SEC tournament. I feel beating LSU was absolutely huge for this program, and really, I think it's sort of turned around how the fan base has felt. At least parts of the fan base have felt a little bit about Kelly Harper. She's been a little bit questioned with just the lack of recruits and then the rough start to the season, but she has proven herself very much worthy of the head coaching title, and I've been incredibly impressed with her, and just the decision making and the coaching in the LSU game was phenomenal. Even though we lost the South Carolina game, that's not necessarily one I think anyone can complain about. And what I really liked in that game, even though we did lose, is Rakia Jackson and Jordan Horston still performed excellently. And, obviously the team didn't play as well as them, but to see your stars be able to do so well, it brings a lot of hope, because you know that if you have the right players, you're very capable of beating that team.
Well,
Question number 5. How many
I would say
springs are
to on my stand, the SEC tournament went better than I expected it for. Expected
Question number 6.
the LSU game, we talked about by far one of the best games in any sports here on UP campus that we've watched over the past academic years. Certainly,
Airing from 2011 to 2021, the TV series Shameless was primarily set in what American city?
for sure they're going to do great things in the WNBA once they reach that level. We cannot wait to see that for our lady BFLs, I guess would be the proper term there. But again, tough way to end the SEC tournament, not a completely unexpected or unforeseen way. I think we saw a lot of heart and a lot of fun in that game. It wasn't just manhandle Lady Balls I truly believe. As we get to the NCAA tournament, we just hope Kelly really hard for the game to look together a string of some wins here, build some momentum as you start to get ready and prepare yourself for next season, what that might look like here on Rocky Top. All right, we are going to go ahead and cut to our first break of the night. That's our basketball segment. We will be back talking about those baseball as well as some lady ball. Stick around. 20.3 The Rock.
Hi, this is Dweezil Zappa, and you're listening to 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2023 baseball fall season runs February into May. Games against SEC rivals Florida, Vandy, Kentucky, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Ticket info is at allballs.com. Students need to show a valid UT ID at the gate or entrance on a first-come, first-served basis. Tune in to Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and the Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
Volunteer Radio thanks our on-campus media partner, UTDailyBeacon.com, for their support. The Daily Beacon has served UT Knoxville as the official student, editorially independent newspaper since 1906, featuring up-to-date campus and city news, sports and info on UT and Knoxville events. Sign up for the newsletters on the website. This brings special print issues of the Daily Beacon to the streets Wednesdays at over 50 locations on campus, and stories are published daily at UTDailyBeacon.com. The Daily Beacon sponsors WUTK's UT News show, Rocky Top Roundup, Tuesday nights from 7 to 8.
History in 1817.
Support to keep the Rock on the air comes from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Ball softball team, whose 2023 home season schedule at Terry Parker Lee Stadium features games against SEC rivals Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, and others. Allballs.com for general public tickets, and UT students are admitted with a valid student ID while seats remain. The Rock wishes Coach Weekly and the Lady Balls softball team good luck on the diamond.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting the Monday Night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans offers lunch daily and is 21 and over after 9 p.m. with a full and late night menu, and is the pre and post game on campus location for Balls and Smokies baseball and Lady Balls softball. MLB, pro soccer, and even the Preds on the big screens. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
Hi, I'm Tom from Kasabian. You're listening to WUTK Knoxville 90.3.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2022-2023 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-POP. Link up at WUTKRadio.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
The Rock thanks the nonprofit Concerts for Our Own for their support. Concerts for Our Own is a concert series providing an opportunity for local nonprofit organizations to showcase their causes and raise money for their organizations. The concert series will benefit Special Spaces, The Love Kitchen, and Breast Connect, and all shows will take place Thursday nights at the Tennessee Amphitheater at World's Fair Park. Food trucks, adult beverages, and more will be available on site. Mac McAnally from the Coral Reefer Band performs June 15th. Neil Diamond Tribute, the Sweet Caroline Tour starring Jay White is August 10th. And Here Comes the Mummy's Return October 12th. Series tickets go on sale this Friday, March 10th at concertsforourown.org.
The Rock receives support from The Hill, Ford Sanders' destination for wings, beer, and sports, including a pre- and post-game hang for UT baseball and softball. The Hill is the home of Rock Solid Sports Friday broadcasts from 6 to 7 p.m. Located on Forest Avenue, just blocks from UT campus, The Hill is open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day with a large covered patio. TheHillKnox.com.
The other half can. Volunteer Radio receives support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2023 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Mariners, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports covers Smokies baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com. Link up at WUTKRadio.com.
Question number 8. Before I ask this question, please do me a favor. Look around, count the number of players on the team.
Welcome back to your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports on 90.3 The Rock.
Question number 8.
I am your host, Chris Clark. Just Chris here tonight. We are rocking down here at the Fieldhouse Social. You probably get the trivia going on in the background, as it is every week. Definitely brings in quite a good crowd. It's lively and it's wonderful crowd tonight. It always is down here at Fieldhouse Social. Let's shout them out real quick. 2525 University Commons Way. Their craft food, beer, cocktails. This big old drink behind me if you're watching on our Facebook stream, as well as a bunch of lovely recliners that sit up right in front of you. You cannot be on my screen here. It is always a lively atmosphere down here at Out Social. We thank you so much for their support.
Oh, right. So we are back talking some fall baseball. And we had a run there with our guys for a while, right? Started off the season for sure. And then when it came down to it, things kind of got together. And was able to string together win after win after win. The pitching has been dominant. The dad started to come to life, and everything was doing great. His dad, gave Tennessee and somewhat of a fight over the weekend, but since he was able to just absolutely manhandle them in the end, winning all 3 games. I believe we were on a 10-game win streak. In that game yesterday, 7-6 Boston Tennessee baseball team. Not looking quite the same as they have been the prior 6 rounds. But on this end, it seems to be the pitching that struggled in this one. Let's go through it, guys. I mean, Tennessee had it going for a minute. It's kind of hard to come apart against the Eagles here.
Yeah, it really did. I personally, out of all the college baseball games that I've watched this season, that was probably the most win or lose. I just enjoy a good baseball game. When it's close, baseball is one of the best sports to watch, and this one was close. Let me tell you. But yeah, you're not lying, Chris. Pitching really was the issue. We gave up 4 home runs, and 2 of them were the same guy, Joe Vitrano, for the Eagles, and that was tough to watch. But regardless, the bats were still hot. I like the offensive production. Boston College was not a bad team.
The fun thing about baseball, when obviously it's a very slow sport, so a lot of the vibe of the game just comes from the social aspect of talking with your friends when it's kind of slowed down. I feel like this was a rare example of a game where you're just basically glued to what's going to happen, because it was just constant back and forth energy in the game, no lulls in anything going on.
Yeah, it felt like it was a late June baseball game. It felt like there was something on the line, and it was a really, really good game to watch. I hope our listeners got a chance to tune into a couple innings, especially there at the end. It got heated.
Yeah, it was a super fun one all the way around. I mean, just seeing the bats be that hot on both ends, honestly, is a lot of fun. As much as I love to see the Vols win, a close game every once in a while is really nice. Bummer we didn't come out on top. I honestly have no complaints. It's baseball. Like Tony V was saying after the game, we've been kind of spoiled as a team, as a fan base, with just how we played last year. That's unprecedented. That's historical. We probably won't see that again, even if we are the number 1 team in the country. We won't. So I'm very happy with this team. I have no complaints. They played really well against a tough Boston College team that was just hot at the right time.
Yeah, and you talk about last year's team and just all the records and everything they were able to set. This team comes in this year, a lot of lofty expectations, wondering what's going to happen. How are you going to replace all that back power from last year? And, well, granted, it's not been quite the same, outcome as at least to start the season off. This team has already accomplished something that last year's record set team did not do, and that was the 15-run inning going back some odd games against Alabama A&M. So we've seen flashes of what this offense truly can be, especially when they are really firing on cylinders. Blake Burke has just been an absolute monster for the Tennessee Vols. Maui Ahuna as well. So glad to hear, Maui's name over the past few weeks, being able to cover those games and just, being able to see him go out there and be a difference maker already. He had that beautiful, phenomenal play against Gonzaga. I believe it was in the second game. So we've seen already flashes of what he can bring to the Vols. So for this Boston College game, just going back over that real quick, it was 7-6 in 10 innings. Game featured 4 ties and 5 lead changes. The two teams just traded blows all night long. Boston College, 9-1. We cannot understate that. They are a good baseball team. And Tennessee, probably the best team that they've played, besides Arizona and, give or take with that. But Boston College already not a bad team, obviously. And so this was a game that Tennessee did play very well. This was, I think you put it perfect, Dominic. This felt like a midsummer game. We're not used to that here in, early March. And so, especially before conference time, are you kidding me? That just doesn't usually happen. So that was enjoyable to see for sure as far as them. And of course, the Vols moving down the road here. They've got some good up and coming, games. They're going to be on the road, so they're going to be tested. We've seen them at home a lot, but with these kind of new additions of Maui Ahuna, what he's been able to add, as well as just Blake Burke and just what he's been able to do. Are you guys worried at all about Tennessee going on the road, being able to pick up some wins and coming back, especially once we get into conference time, kind of looking ahead a little bit?
Really quick, I have a hot take I kind of want to make if we can backtrack to just the vibe of the Boston game in general. Is it a hot take to think that even though a win would have been preferable, if a game is just absolutely electric like that, you just kind of forget about the score and just straight up enjoy what an awesome game you're watching, especially with baseball? Is that a hot take to think?
I don't think so, because that's the way that I like watching baseball. If it's a good game like that, who cares what the final score is? It was a good game.
Yeah.
Got to care about the final score when it's playoffs, though. That's
okay. Well,
yeah. When it's regular season, you're totally fine to just enjoy a fun game. But when it's the playoffs, I want my team to win. I do not care how they do it. I need the Vols to win in Omaha.
Yeah, regular season though, hey, it's a learning experience. We'll move on. But Chris, you mentioned Blake Burke, and I just want you to know, I want everybody to know, the way he swings is so effortless. He hit a foul ball last night that I was like, I really think he just barely moved the bat. I mean, didn't look like he was putting a whole lot of effort. It still went over the wall. I was like, how? How in the world does he swing with such ease and that just fly away?
Yeah, and talking about the games coming up, like Chris was mentioning, and seeing down the road, will this team potentially have any problems? One thing that people have pointed to for sure is the base running being a little bit questionable at times. And that's definitely a concern you can have, and something you need to really tighten up as we get into tougher opponents. But I think this Vols team is very capable of beating anyone in the SEC. It's just a matter of, it's baseball. It's a matter of momentum. It's a matter of just being the right team at the right time. So it's really hard to say, because the SEC is loaded. It is undoubtedly the best conference in the nation when it comes to college baseball, and I don't think even the most diehard fans of any other conference could contend with that.
Yeah, SEC tournament's just like mini Omaha.
Hey, I am all down for a mini Omaha right now, because I'm right there with you guys, right? We have got to see that happen again for, before we especially get out of here as far as students. But last year, I don't think I expected it to at all produce any of what we did last year. But I think there's definitely been some guys stepping up. Good goodness. You talk about Blake Burke, who's just like, okay, you need somebody, here I am. And like you said, Jackson, man, the guy's swing is just already next level. He is just getting so comfortable in that batter's box, being able to kind of control the game. He's doing what he needs to do in order to, help lead the balls. And they've not needed a lot of, people to kind of do that, because this is a really good collective team. Honestly, they do remind me a lot of the basketball team in terms of where I don't, Blake Burke you certainly think about, but I don't think there's that one person right off the bat that I look at and go, okay, that's the undoubted leader of the team. That's our guy. There's no real Hendon Hooker on that squad, if you will. But nevertheless, they are still a very good cohesive unit. What they were able to do against Gonzaga, they were facing, an early deficit in that one going back to Saturday's game, 2-0 deficit, and we're able to climb back in, right? And then it was at the end of the game we finally started to see those bats come alive. And sometimes it can be just the difference in a pitcher. But, Tennessee just able to always seems to find their way through that. Boston College yesterday, again, we just can't give them enough credit on that, what kind of game that was. So very impressive to see from them. I want to ask you guys real quick. I know we are super early in the season, but while we have not yet played anybody in the SEC, is there one team out there that you think is going to threaten the Vols to take that title from them?
All of them. Feels like the entire SEC is out.
One.
I'm not, not every single one. I mean, but yeah, this is a stat conference. It's pick your poison with, East, West. It don't matter. There's a team out in the SEC that can just absolutely whoop you any night of the week.
It's us against.
Give me your team that you think for sure. Like, that's a team I don't want to play when we get to conference tournament time.
I mean, nobody wants to play the defending national champions.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't really want to play Arkansas, because Arkansas and Tennessee seem to have this beef that's really brewing, especially between the fan bases on Twitter. It's actually really fun to watch. Anytime there's anything posted about Tennessee baseball, you will see at least 70 Arkansas fans in the comments berating the Vols at whatever they are doing. That is a school that just hates us right now for whatever reason. And I don't want to play a team that hates us.
Hate us because they ain't us, baby.
Well, we certainly hope that's the case. But, I agree with that. DDH and those Hogs out there, man, they've had a lot of disgust built up towards the Vols, especially last year, right? It was kind of like, Tennessee's season last year was a bit unprecedented. It wasn't like just a very gradual progression in getting to the point of being that kind of a team. It almost came out of sort of left field, no pun intended. But, for Arkansas, it's like they had taken those steps. They had guided themselves to the point of being able to contend for national championships. And last year it was just all about the Big Orange, and they were sick of it. That's kind of basically what Dominic's touching on. And so now they have taken so many opportunities to try and lash out at Big Orange Nation. But you know what? If anything we learned from last year's team, we are perfectly fine being the villains of college baseball. I will say, oh, man, I think Arkansas is a really good pick, but I said it earlier in the season. I'm going to stick with it for the sake of continuity. A&M is a team that would worry me a little bit, because they remind me of us. They, their progression has been very quick. Last year we saw a first-year head coach and what he was able to do with that program. So they could be a scary team as we move along. But, again, there's still a long way to go in this season. And we hope the best for our Vols. Let's talk real quick about Lady Vol softball. They are one of the best teams in the country, currently ranked number 5. And I'm sure you all will be delighted to hear that they are currently blasting Tennessee Tech 19-0 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Quick thoughts on the Lady Vol softball program and just the fast start they've been able to get off to.
Is there a mercy rule for softball? Because at this point,
if not, there needs to be.
Yeah, 19-0 seems like it's a little demoralizing.
If they are ahead 8-0 in the after 5 innings, the game ends.
Wait, what inning are they in?
4th, I think you said.
Did you say 4th, Chris?
Wow. Yeah, it's the bottom of the 4th.
Gracious.
I guess there are 2 types of basketball, just baseball or softball games, the close ones that are exciting, like the one against Boston, or the absolute beatings, regardless of which one or which direction it goes, hopefully in the way of your team. That, don't get me wrong, love watching our Vols succeed, but that's just tough to watch and you kind of feel bad.
Yeah, I think if you really want to point a finger to the Lady Vol success this early in the season, I said it last week. I'm gonna say it again. Ashley Rogers and Carolyn Pickens. Carolyn Pickens won SEC Freshman of the Week 2 weeks in a row now. Those ladies are very, very, very talented at getting the ball right on past you, and you never even saw it coming. They are very good pitchers, and I think that they have held the Lady Vols on their backs for the most of the season.
Yeah, that pitching staff is a force to be reckoned with. Just absolutely phenomenal stuff coming out of that bullpen. There are not many teams in softball like the Lady Vols when it comes to their pitching. It's really a pleasure to watch.
Yeah, shout out to Carolyn Pickens. If I'm not mistaken, SEC Freshman of the Week going back to last week. So the pitching staff just absolutely phenomenal so far to start this young season off. They still got their ways to go, but I think seeing scores like today, 19-0, that certainly gives you a lot of hope moving forward. Tennessee Tech isn't always going to be the opponent, but that shows you these Lady Vols have come to play this softball season, and as you guys said, are going to be a force to be reckoned with as we move throughout it. All right, before we cut to our last break, I promised the guys I would make sure that I brought this up. Going back to our last segment, we were talking about Lady Vol basketball. Do want to make sure that we spread the good news. Tamari Key is returning for next season, so really awesome to hear from the Lady Vol basketball program. I know that's kind of the leader of those Lady Vols, whether she's on the court or off the court, always helping to direct that team and just to push them to be better. So very glad to hear about that. And before we cut out, let's throw it to Dylan real quick. Dylan, what you got on the hockey end for us?
And I can be really quick. First of all, the Ice Bears went undefeated over the weekend, 3-0 win over Roanoke on Thursday, 5-3 win at Macon on Saturday, despite missing 5 players and Coach Clark due to suspensions. Again, still have no idea what went down with Roanoke the other week that caused all those guys to get suspensions.
And ladies and gentlemen, we did our due diligence.
Yeah.
We did look it up. We even looked in the rule books. We were looking for everything. We wanted to get to the answers.
It's not us being lazy. It's literally just very vague rules. But yeah, they managed to pull out the dubs, which good for them. When you have your head general off the bench for a reason that even we don't know, followed by a bunch of your other players, you're kind of hitting the panic button because those are pretty thin benches already. I think there's only like 15 guys on it. So losing almost half of that roster is got to be rough, but they managed to secure it. This weekend, back-to-back road games at Pensacola Friday and Saturday. Jackson, you might be at those.
Hey, listen, if I get bored enough, not even bored enough, I might have to go support the Ice Bears. I will be in Pensacola this weekend. If I do, I promise you I'll take a picture and send it to the Rock Solid Sports page, and we'll get that uploaded as fast as possible, and we'll let you know all what happened next week.
And what do I always say that the next best thing besides NHL hockey is? Cheap, dirty hockey like the Ice Bears. I absolutely love it. But NHL stuff, Predators are playing Arizona Thursday, LA on Saturday. Barry Trotz is kind of already filling in that GM role. Tonight, you got Minnesota at Winnipeg, Chicago, Detroit, Anaheim at Vancouver. Trade deadline was March 3rd. It made us feel things. We talked about it. And Boston is just doing awesome, becoming the fastest team to reach 100 points in only 61 games, beating the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens, who did it in 62. Connor McDavid is also just straight awesome. Career high of 124 points, leads the league in goals, assists, and points. Honestly, probably going to win MVP. And I guess to kind of wrap things up for hockey, you know what always goes down. Ovechkin goal tracker, 816, 78 away from Wayne Gretzky's 894. standing at 36 this season, still within the top 10 for all players as of this season. But I think I saw a stat a few weeks ago saying that he needs to score an average of 33 every season to pass Gretzky, and he's above 33, so hey, we got nothing to worry about.
All right, and thank you so much, Dylan, for our hockey update. Shout out to the Ice Bears, and yeah, if you get a chance, Jackson, go check them out. Those are our guys. I know there's a lot to do in Pensacola. You're going to have your mind on a lot of stuff going on down there in Florida, but if you get a chance, always worth the shot to go check out the Ice Bears. All right, well, that's going to that's going to do it for our second segment. An early step to our last and final one with pro sports. We'll be back talking about everything going on with John Morant and those Grizzlies and how this impacts their season moving forward. Stay tuned. This is your Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on WUTK The Rock.
This is Eskimo, 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Support for WUTK comes from Fieldhouse Social, the modern sports bar next to campus at University Commons. Fieldhouse Social serves American craft fare such as burgers, wings, and more with high tops around the bar, a separate dining area, and a center lounge with leather chairs and couches in front of their 23-foot LED TV wall for Tennessee and pro sports. Fieldhouse Social is an outdoor patio with trivia twice a week and sponsors Wednesday's Rock Solid Sports. FieldhouseSocial.com.
WTK has the most diverse playlist on the air, and it has expanded even more with Out Loud Knox. Live in studio Thursday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. and hosted by Jake Johns and the Out Loud crew. Out Loud Knox plays music from LGBTQ+ artists, allies, and the icons with special guest interviews, events, and more. You can follow the show on Instagram at Out Loud Knox. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. It's Out Loud Knox, only on 90.3 The Rock, where good music and the gay agenda unite.
Volunteer Radio receives support from Tennessee Smokies Baseball, the AA Southern League affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, whose 2023 regular season schedule features 6-game homestands Tuesdays through Sundays at nearby Smoky Stadium in Kodak against the Chattanooga Lookouts, Mississippi Braves, Birmingham Barons, and more. WUTK's Rock Solid Sports covers Smokies Baseball all season long. SmokiesBaseball.com. Link up at WUTKRadio.com.
The Rock thanks Cool Beans, 1817 Lake Avenue, 1 block south of the Strip, for sponsoring and hosting Monday night Rock Solid Sports broadcast at 7 p.m. Cool Beans is the campus headquarters for food, brews, pool, shot starts, sports, and more fun. Tuesday night is team trivia night, and Thursday nights are for bingo. CoolBeansBar.com or their Facebook page for more info.
Volunteer Radio remains on the air thanks to support from the UT Athletic Department. The 2023 baseball Vols season runs February into May, with games against SEC rivals Florida, Vandy, Kentucky, and more at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Ticket info is at allvols.com. Students need to show a valid UT ID at the gate for entrance on a first-come, first-served basis. Tune in to Rock Solid Sports for UT baseball coverage, and The Rock wishes Coach Vitello and the Baseballs good luck on the diamond this season.
The Rock thanks the Knoxville Ice Bears Southern Professional Hockey League team for their support. Their 2022-2023 home ice season from October through April includes games with SPHL rivals Fayetteville, Huntsville, Roanoke, and more at the Civic Coliseum downtown. Single game and season tickets are at KnoxvilleIceBears.com or 865-525-PUCK. Link up at WUTKRadio.com. Rock Solid Sports features Ice Bears Wednesdays with news and updates. Volunteer Radio says go Ice Bears.
Why don't you knock it off with them negative waves? Why don't you dig how beautiful it is out here? Why don't you say something righteous and hopeful for a change?
Coming at you with positive waves and righteous tunes. We are 90.3 The Rock.
The Rock receives support from The Hill, Fort Sanders' destination for wings, beer, and sports, including college basketball on the big screen and a pre- and post-game hang for Lady Vols and Vols basketball. The Hill is the home of Rock Solid Sports Friday broadcast from 6 to 7 p.m. Located on Forest Avenue, just blocks from the UT campus, The Hill is open 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day and has a large covered patio. TheHillKnox.com.
Support to keep The Rock on the air comes from the UT Athletic Department and the UT Lady Vols softball team, whose 2023 home season schedule at Sherry Parker Lee Stadium Features games against SEC rivals Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, and others. Allvols.com for general public tickets, and UT students are admitted with a valid student ID while seats remain. The Rock wishes Coach Weekly and the Lady Vols softball team good luck on the diamond.
Knoxville, be sure to tune in Wednesday nights from 8 until 10 p.m. for The Alternative, sponsored by Bliss and Corey Mason Shoes on Gate Street and at West Town Mall. And Bliss Home at the Gallery Shopping Center, also sponsored by Boyd's Chicken Grill Bar and Live Music Venue in the heart of Knoxville's Old City. The Alternative features 2 hours of the best in Americana music from the station who first brought Knoxville music by bands from back in the alt-country days, like the Jayhawks, Uncle Tupelo, Steve Earle, and Jason and the Scorchers, to 90s Americana like the V-Roys, Whiskey Town, Lucinda Williams, Sunvold, and others, to modern-day Americana musicians like Molly Tuttle, Tyler Childers, Casey Musgrave, Sturgill Simpson, Billy Strings, and the Punch Brothers. You'll also get classic Americana like Johnny Cash, the band, and Emmylou Harris, and there's always Patsy Cline at 9. Tune in Wednesday nights at 8 for The Alternative. Sponsored by Boyd's Chicken Grill, Bliss Home, and Corey Mason Shoes, and only on 90.3 The Rock, UT's College of Rock.
Yeah.
All right, and welcome back to your final segment of this Wednesday night edition of Rock Solid Sports here on WTK The Rock, Rocketeers for 41 years. Quick shout out to the people you hear behind me and this venue you see behind me, Fieldhouse Social, 2525 University Commons Way. Trivia going on tonight, crowd filing in as always. Just always a wonderful atmosphere down here, such a vibrant one. And we thank them so much for their support, for allowing us to do what we do. All right, let's jump in real quick, guys. I know we're against the clock right now, but no worries. We got time to get these in. Pro sports segment. We're going to start off with Ja Morant and those Memphis Grizzlies. Let's be honest, guys, not a good look at all right now for them. How does this affect their season moving forward? Do you think do they have problems in the West now? Are they still fine in the West is what I want to know.
Yeah, I don't think they've been fine in the West since old Kevin Durant decided to make the move. But not to get too talk showy, but yeah, it's not a good look in Memphis right now. You obviously don't want to see your star player doing that and getting into trouble. Thankfully, he wasn't charged. Well, thankfully for the Grizzlies, he wasn't charged with anything criminally, so he will be back. I think they said that he's missing 4 more games after the ones that he's already missed or is to miss, but they'll get him back. We'll see what happens if they can get things rolling towards the end in the postseason, but it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah, this one is definitely crazy. All the Ja Morant drama that has gone on, and I'm glad that it's gotten resolved, at least temporarily. They couldn't really find any evidence that Ja Morant had that weapon on the plane, so he should be coming back to Memphis and be able to play for the Grizzlies here pretty soon, unless the team imposes some kind of suspension. But that really changes the outlook of the conference, because for a minute there, it was looking like the Grizzlies would be without their star man. And so I'm happy we get to see really good basketball. Whether or not you agree with what's happened with Ja Morant, you can at least be thankful that the NBA will remain very competitive as it has.
Yeah, certainly a tough situation. We do want to reiterate, Ja not charged with anything, but there were the talks about him possibly taking time off, to seek help. And we don't know what his next step is at the moment. At least I don't think so. But we do know that we wish the situation the best. It needs to turn out to be, everything good on those ends. I think it will be. Ja's a smart enough individual. He will not let this affect his career moving forward. Grizzlies, as you said, have not been fine in the West for some time. The West is a very tough conference, as it always has been. So that's going to be definitely maybe an issue if he ends up missing some time. But Grizzlies, hopefully that does not happen. Real quick, though, to you guys, on the quick thoughts on Lamar Jackson being franchise tagged, you especially, Dylan.
He's probably not going to be a Raven next season. Let's be honest. I've accepted it.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, that is not a protected franchise tag. He has the right to talk to any team and sign any deal, and the Ravens have the opportunity to match it, but will they? I think they're just testing the market to see what everybody else values about him, and then they'll pay him off that much, but we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Franchise tag, again, as you said, they will be given the chance to either match it or, be able to get 2 first-round draft picks, if I'm not mistaken, from the team that decides to give Lamar whatever money he seeks, whether he's with Baltimore or not. Dylan, I hope the best for you, my friend. That's a big franchise cornerstone. All right, we're going to keep our eyes focused on that as we move forward. Thank you so much for rocking with us tonight, as you all always do. We will be back next Wednesday, right back here at Fieldhouse Social with another great, fantastic show and more sports info. Thank you so much. Have a good week.
Broadcasting from the shadows